With everything shut down and people stuck in their homes, there is but one question we are all asking. How long can this possibly go on for? How long are we willing to wait until the world starts moving once again? Luckily for you guys, I've got the answer. It's time! Please welcome your council to Reopen America! Seriously though, let's talk about this council to reopen America. And also let's talk about when should we be reopening America or reopening other countries in the world? You know, this is a very complicated question. And the problem is that you have to make some estimations on the value of a human life. And that's a confusing and complex issue. Do we try to do whatever we can to save even one person, even if that means shutting things down forever? Well, no, obviously we aren't going to do that. Do we not care if thousands or millions of people die because let's get the Dow Jones pumping right now? No, we're obviously not going to do that as well. So the real answer here is there is some day where we lose the least amount of human life, and we also allow ourselves the best economic upside to get our economy going again. So there's some kind of blend here, and the real question is in those margins. What day is the optimal day where we get the best benefits of both? I want to talk about this council to reopen America though, and it is a pretty diverse crowd. There's a woman. You might be thinking, hey, where are the doctors on this council? Shouldn't we have some of those guys in there? And we do. Robert Lighthizer is a doctor of law. But these people are really just a placeholder for what Trump wants to do, and that's to get the country going again, which is reasonable. The president should want our country to get back to work at a time frame that is safe. That does not make the man evil. I see a lot of people that just come out with pitchforks because he wants us to have businesses and people doing stuff again. The question is when? When is safe? And that's why we really need to look to medical experts to tell us when it's appropriate for us to actually go on with our normal society. After some comments about reopening states, even if governors don't want to do so, there was a conversation had between Donald Trump and a reporter. Let's go ahead and take a look.
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
The authority is total.
It's total. It's total.
As my good friend Ryan Fee said, really putting the total in totalitarian. It reminds me of what George Washington said at the founding of our country, when he said, "Now that we've escaped the power of tyranny, let's build a system where the power of the president is total." Also, if that fails, I take no responsibility for this. That man had a way with words.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
It's a little bit off topic, but I do want to say that it is kind of amazing how great of a system that the founding fathers of America created, given the fact that that was a long time ago and it would be hard to see where things would go today. Even though checks and balances seem to be kind of jostling for position at points, and local governments and smaller governments in the system seem to be losing a bit of their power, all in all, the system has held together remarkably well. It's pretty crazy that something that was created, 250-ish years ago can still be so effective today. This does make us start to ask a larger question. What happens if the president says, okay guys, we're going back to normal, but state governors say, no, you're not, you're staying at home? Who wins in that fight between the balance of power? Oh, you wanted me to answer that. Let me do some Googling. Can the president override a state governor? It seems like a lot of constitutional experts feel like he can't do that. The governors are the ones that gave them the stay-at-home orders, and they're the ones that need to lift that. And some governors have been a little bit confused with what's been happening. Governors like Cuomo out of New York.
He did work cooperatively with this state and other states, and that's why I don't understand why you would pivot at this point to this aggressive, hostile suggestion of total authority of the federal government and abandon the partnership cooperation that he started by praising.
Ultimately, though, this probably isn't going to matter too much, because the next day Trump said that he's going to work with states on a case-by-case or state-by-state basis and make strong reopening plans for each of them at times that are appropriate for that given state, which is a good, sound plan that I'm a little surprised we didn't see earlier, but does make sense. But let's put down the politics for a sec. What can we expect in terms of our day-to-day life? When can things go back to where they were before? And my personal opinion is that I don't think that we're going to see things exactly like before for a long time. The reality is that as people begin to contact with each other once again, some people will still have COVID-19, and those people are going to spread to other people. And as that happens, we'll see outbreaks, and it'll ramp up in various areas. This is really the problem. This is not something that goes away. It's not like, every single person in the world can just stay at their house for a month and then we're all good. There are people that have to come into contact with other people. There are people that will do it anyway. There's no way for us to fully remove this. So I don't see a world moving forward where we don't still have outbreaks of COVID-19. And that's a kind of scary thing. Everyone's hoping this will just go away permanently, but I really don't think that's going to be the case. We also have to talk about what's going to happen to American jobs. If you haven't been following this, unemployment has been skyrocketing. Frankly, I don't think there's ever been a period with this much job loss in such a short period of time in the history of our country. This is a graph from 538 that shows unemployment numbers by week. And as we can see over the last month, these numbers have skyrocketed, with a couple of these weeks having over 6 million claims, whereas before we saw claims that were well under 1 million, what looks to be more like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. If we look a little further on a state-by-state basis, we can see that the states with the largest number of unemployment claims tend to be the largest states. We can see California with an extremely high number, Pennsylvania with a very high number. Of course, New York was going to have a high number, a couple 100,000 in Florida, a few 100,000 in Texas. But if we look at it on a percentage basis, we can see most recently Colorado, Missouri, and New York have the largest number of unemployment claims change, whereas we see a few states with a actual negative reduction in week over week unemployment claims. States like Maine, Maryland, Arkansas are actually dropping some. We can't just look at week to week and say that means that this week is better in a given state, because the policies of those states will impact that data substantially. If a governor decides on one day, okay, we're closing the state today, well, you might not see the effect in that unemployment until several weeks later. So really, this isn't the best thing to look at when we're trying to really weigh the week over week change for unemployment. But the case is simple here. Unemployment has gone up a ton because people can't go to work and many businesses have to shut down entirely. I will say it's been sort of a weird effect on businesses. Most businesses are taking big hits here. The stock market went down a lot, and most service type industries are taking some serious fire with this type of situation from COVID. But there are some businesses that randomly are going to be quite resilient. If we look at businesses like Amazon, I'm sure they've been doing great. Netflix has probably reached some pretty good numbers. And something tells me that when everyone gets a $1,200 stimulus checks, that poker sites are probably going to be doing okay. With respect to jobs specifically, we might not see things return to pre-coronavirus levels for a very long time. Now, I'm not an economic expert, but it stands to reason that if a lot of businesses have to close and many people are being fired from their jobs, then there won't be those jobs when they get back. Now, it remains to be seen what this effect will be like over the next few years. Will it be more of a slow, we start to get back to where we were before? Will there be prolonged periods of time with unemployment? This is also kind of within the context of the global community. It's also interesting when we think about that AI will be replacing jobs sort of in this time frame. It's really interesting when you think about it like this. Andrew Yang came into the Democratic debates talking about UBI. He really brought UBI, or universal basic income, to the forefront of topics that people needed to discuss. But he wasn't taken seriously. A lot of people thought of it as being sort of like almost communist or socialist-like, and basically we're not going to do that here in America. Then just a few months later, we gave everyone a check for money. So, life comes at you fast. I could maybe see some scenarios where some of these jobs don't come back because of business crashing. Some of them end up being replaced by AI. This could lead to a longer term unemployment situation that gets quite bad, or it might not be. I'm not an expert, and I think even a lot of experts don't know either. These are certainly things that we should consider, though. I want to end this video on an important topic, and I know we like to joke around in this channel a lot, and we're mainly going to do that, but I do think this is a serious topic to discuss. I think that what we should be doing as a society, or what our government should be doing with our society, should be based on math, science, and fact. And it shouldn't be based on opinion and what Jesus would want you to do, or what makes you win an election, or what's going to help the Dow Jones today. These are things that might be important to people, but shouldn't be important to policy. The bottom line is this: when it comes to trying to make decisions on coronavirus, experts that spent their lives learning things should tell us, hey, I think these are pretty good guidelines and we should listen to those people. You shouldn't listen to some guy making a YouTube video called When Will Things Return to Normal, because that guy probably has no idea what he's talking about. We should also get some transparency from politicians in saying, hey, let's leave this to the experts, people that could save lives and understand the impact here. You know, there's a tough truth, which is you're gonna at some point have to reopen things, and when you do, there will be people that die because of it. That's a given. It's going to happen, and that sucks. But we can't have this attitude of one life is worth shutting everything down indefinitely. And that's why people that are actually really well researched and intelligent and know these subjects, those should be the people at the helm making these decisions. We shouldn't be debating it like, oh, is next week good? Is the week after good? I just don't know. You know what we need right now? Handbag designers. So yeah, experts should make nerdy calculations that come to decisions that are comprehensive and create good solutions. Now, I'm not saying I have full faith in our government to execute that, because it's a government, so it has that going for it. But at the same time, we don't really have much else to expect. My only piece of advice would be this. Try to have a level head when thinking about the options here. Don't just look at opening as you're killing old people, and don't just look at killing old people like you're killing the Dow Jones. There's some balance here that we have to go for. If you find yourself stuck in this mindset of even one life is too much, well then, according to you, we should never reopen the economy because that would kill a life. So thus, why have any businesses? Why have jobs? Why have food? Why have a home? Why have anything? Just die. But then that is the death. It's a cycle, okay? And you can't go down that road. On the other side, you can't look at this like liberals are killing your stock market portfolio. That's also very selfish. There's some kind of balance here in the middle. So just try to have an open mind, think about things, and look for actual information from experts that do know what they're talking about. And hopefully we can get through this as a society. Thanks for joining me here today, guys. I know we've done videos on a bunch of different topics and we're still kind of finding the exact rhythm for the channel. But frankly, I've been enjoying just getting to cover things that I've found fun or I'm interested in. And you know, we might keep going with that for a while. We've had a couple of videos do a bit better lately on the channel. I appreciate all of the new viewers that have come in for those, or this video, or whatever else you've watched. So if you enjoy these videos and you want to support the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys again soon. Peace.